Last evening, I was watching a video in relation to Kashi. Members of other community were asked, here is the proof. You can see it. You have always known it. Give it back peacefully. Don't make us fight in court for another 100 years. It will improve relations. His answer, according to me, was brilliant of the other side. So what? His only question was, so what? So what if it was your place? I have been worshipping there for 50 years at least, so it's my place. This is the mindset you're dealing with. Okay, with the permission of the audience, please, with a show of hands, tell me, am I allowed to say something controversial? If you want me to, please raise your hands. Okay. Can I? Okay, fine. I'll keep it as soft as possible. Gomata is sacred. That is my controversial statement. Because saying that has become controversial today, especially in this state. Because on Instagram and Facebook and other places, I get hate mail, death threats on a regular basis. But one of that is, come to Kerala, have paratha with. It's not coming from a non-Hindu. It is not coming from a non-Hindu at all. Your ancestors died to protect it. And you are using it to taunt your own people. How shameful. What a disaster this is. You don't understand what it represents. You have Tyagaraja Kirtana going on in the background music and somebody is having this. What kind of a perverted mind is that? If all of us had decided this will not happen, would anybody have the guts to do it? Does anybody have the guts to consume tobacco and enter a Gurudwara? No. I respect that commitment. Can anybody enter a Gurudwara without covering their hair? No. You'll be slapped and they'll say, get out. Here, requesting for basic decency inside a temple will be questioned by Hindus. Don't come in beach wear to a kshetram, you can't tell. Dress modestly and dignifiedly, at least wear the veshti. At the very least do that. They won't listen. Now, I can blame someone in the past for disrespecting the cow when he had no respect for it, when he doesn't believe in it. Who do I blame for a Hindu doing it today? Now, so the other side doesn't need a spokesperson because it has created spokespersons for itself from the Hindu community. Ask a lawyer how difficult it is to win a case when your own guy is arguing against you from the other side. Savarkar said this brilliantly, and in the land of Parashurama, Savarkar must be mentioned. That I am not afraid of anybody else. I am afraid of the Hindu who will speak against Hindus. A lot of people speak of numbers and demographics, population, so let's say contribution, all of that. I believe that even at 60% or 55%, Kerala Hindus are strong enough. Provided all 55 to 60% think and behave like Hindus. That's all. You have survived the worst of periods 100 years ago. Exactly 100 years ago. You have seen worse. Today your position is not as bad as it was then because Kerala Hindus are not alone, first of all, anymore. There is a larger Hindu identity. Two, Hindus don't realize that you're not fighting for a place. You're fighting for all those energy kshetras which are meant to be kept alive. Because that is where lies your security. That is what will ultimately protect you. No Kshatriya in the history of this land has ever succeeded without a rishi or a guru supporting him. And without a devata. Which is why every princely family has a deity. Travancore family has Padmanabha Swami. Cochin family has Purnatraisha. Mewad has Eklingji. The Gajapati of Odisha has Jagannath. Kashi has a royal family who I represent in the Supreme Court for recovery of the Bindu Madhav Mandir in the same challenge to the Places of Worship Act. Bengal still has a lot of royal families. Mysore has Chamundeshwari. Name one princely family which does not have a deity. Vijayanagar Empire was founded by Vidyaranya, who later became the Sringeri Mathadipati. So, according to me, it's like a concentric circle. Kshetra, Guru, Kshatra, community. There cannot be a circle without a Kendra Bindu. The Kendra Bindu is under attack from non-Hindus and Hindus. Protect the Kendra Bindu. The community will sort itself out. So in Tamil Nadu, when I was doing my engineering, until the age of 23, my Yajnapoivit Sanskar hadn't happened yet. Fortunately so, otherwise they'd have pulled it off. In Tamil Nadu, they'd wipe off your vibhuti, especially if they know that you're a Brahmin. They'll do it, 100% they'll do it. It's not safe to be a Brahmin in Tamil Nadu at all. When people say Tamil Brahmins are cowards, sorry, they are still Brahmins in Tamil Nadu. They are not. It takes a lot of courage to constantly live in that hostile atmosphere. Because these people can do engineering and go to California. Instead, they are sitting in Kumbakonam. They are not even getting women to marry from their own community because Brahmins are itself saying, I'd rather give my daughter in marriage to somebody sitting in California than someone who is doing Nitya Puja in Kumbakonam. What is the response to all of these problems? Here, where is the fault of the other person? My job over the last 5 to 6 years has been to point out our problems because solutions are within our control. The more we focus on that, the more we'll be confident because then we realize all these are capable of being addressed by us either at the individual level or at the societal level. So let's start doing it. But the biggest problem in the Hindu community is that what it does is that it outsources all its problems to politics. It says, I need to do nothing. I need to just press a button once in 5 years. Everybody else will take care of it. No, that's not how it works. In all other communities, they actively push for their agenda. They push their community. They support their community. They ensure that their political representative delivers on their promise for the community. Learn from them. Always learn from the other person if he is succeeding at something. Find what is he doing right which you are not doing. Address that. I believe that there is a lot of hope still alive for Parashurama Kshetra. There is a lot of hope for it. Your mantra shakti is still alive. It is still dynamic. Argentinians and Russians are coming to Sabarimala. What more do you want? Brazilians, people coming from Latin America. Imagine. So there is something that is still alive. There is some Divya Chaitanyam that is still keeping this place alive. So when you know that your gods are still alive here in terms of their active presence, and your kshetras are still alive and kicking, it only needs the human element to step up. Refuse to cooperate or support with anyone who's selling or buying something which is not in your interest. I'll leave it at that. Support every member of your community when they set up a business. I come from Hyderabad. It should be otherwise called Bhagyanagar. That is its original name. So there are certain parts of Hyderabad where old shops have continued for hundreds of years, and I've always wondered, where do they get business from? They get their business from their community, because their community is saying, we will continue to support you because your presence in that place means that real estate is still in our hands. Whether the product is good, bad or ugly makes no difference. They must be selling chappal for 25 years or 40 years and still they'll be continuing to sell chappal only. And they'll confidently continue in that business because they know that their community will not go to anybody else when they have an option from within the community. So whether it is real estate, whether it is electronics, whether it is agriculture, whether it is groceries, whether it is rice, whatever it is, buy from your member of the Hindu community first. These are practical economic support systems. I am not asking for anything negative. What is wrong in saying support your community first? Buy from your people first? Do it. Next. I think there's a lady there. She's waiting. Yes. Ma'am, I'll come back to you.
Hi. One of the very valid points that you made was about having one of your kshetrams support all your activities, education and everything. Unfortunately, in this state, at least, not sure about everywhere else, but at least in this state, I know it's the people who ruled most of the kshetrams, including Sabarimala, are not the most receptive to doing any Hindu work. So what is the solution for that? Right. in your
So I know for a fact that the Pandalam family, as well as the families that have a relationship with other temples, certainly have a philanthropic bent of mind. They are interested in charitable causes for the Hindu community. I can say this confidently. But the fact is, the Devaswam boards are obviously in government hands. So there are a group of lawyers and activists who, over the last few years, have tried to reduce government control, who have tried to take back the community's resources so that it can be used for the community. This is happening in Karnataka, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and parts of Maharashtra across the board. Frankly speaking, the problem is capable of being addressed in a very simple fashion. I'm going to give a legal solution, so just hear me out for 2 minutes. Temples and charitable endowments come under entry 28 of the Constitution of the concurrent list. Concurrent list would mean those subjects over the center also has power and the state also has power. We have been asking the central government for a very long time now to pass a uniform legislation for temples across the country which reduces government control and gives back the resources to the Hindu community. That way, all of us will be saved the trouble of constantly going to court, challenging everything. Otherwise, as long as the litigation goes on, I will become more famous. But will it help the Hindu community? It won't. So that is one solution. The other thing is that when there is someone who's standing up to defend your interest, either in court or anywhere else, find a way to support them. I'm not asking for financial support because I have done everything pro bono. From Sabarimala to Padmanabha Swami to Kashi, I've done everything pro bono. I need nothing from anyone. Because I am fairly successful as a commercial litigator. I use 10 to 15% of my time to support Hindu Dharma through my litigation. So I need nothing from anyone. But what about the activists who are fighting on the ground? Where are they getting the support? If someone is standing up to represent the Hindu cause, find a way to support them, whether they are doing this to protect your neighborhood or to protect your position in court. Support them in one way or the other. I know that this is not a direct answer to your question because the problem itself is indirect. It will take some time. For close to 120 years, ever since the first Board of Revenue was set up under the British government in the Madras Presidency, the British government took over Hindu temples saying, Brahmins are corrupt, temples are places of corruption, so the only way to address corruption is by the state taking over the temples. After independence, the Indian state has been saying the same thing. Brahmins are corrupt, temples are places of corruption, so we need to continue controlling the temples. There is no difference of opinion between the British man who did this and the Indian government that has been doing this on the subject. When the Travancore family created the Travancore Devaswam board, what was their intention? Not all temples have the same resources as the Padmanabha Swami temple. So there will be some kshetrams without money, where they can't do Trikala Puja. So those temples would have lands, but they would not know how to administer those lands and get revenue out of it. So a simple solution was worked out. Annual rent will be given to every temple under the Travancore Devaswam board in return for the land, and that money will be used for the maintenance of those temples. When Travancore and Cochin became one state after independence, and then it became Travancore, Cochin and Malabar, and then they became part of the Indian Union, that obligation was given to the Indian Union. So there is a specific article, you can Google this. I think it's Article 295A or Article 295, where money comes from the government to Kerala temples. If this is a secular government, how is this possible? It is happening only because it has taken the duty of the Maharaja of Travancore, saying, since you have merged with India, your obligations are now Indian obligations. You know what is the amount that is being given from the government in 2020s to Padmanabha Swami temple? For all the lands of the Padmanabha Swami temple? Less than 5 lakhs a year. Are you telling me that the rent and the revenue from all the lands belonging to the Padmanabha Swami temple will yield only 5 lakhs as revenue per year? There is no inflation, there is no appreciation, there is no increase in the amount. All these issues are being fought before the Devaswam bench in the Kerala High Court. They've gone to the Supreme Court. People don't know it because those people are fighting like orphans without support from their community. If you start taking an interest in the affairs of your community, you will become aware of this. Name any other community which will suffer this kind of indignity. I think Swamiji is here. I'll just wait for some. Please come, Swamiji. Namaskar. Yeah. Please. No. Please welcome. Come sit. clearly you are from the NRI community, right? I would assume, therefore, that your ability to support such initiatives is better. Your understanding of the law, coming from a litigious community or a litigious jurisdiction, must be better. So, the time that people like me don't have, because we also have our professional commitments, we need to create more voices which can at least spread this information to the community. Assume for a moment that there is a temple whose lands are lost. Which Kerala Hindu knows, which Malayali Hindu knows that his temple lands are being lost or they are being encroached and that encroachment is being legalized? You won't know. How many RTIs have been filed asking a simple question: what is the revenue coming from the Sabarimala temple? What is the revenue coming from each of the temples under the Travancore Devaswam board? How is that money being spent? How much of that money is being spent on Hindus? How much of it is being spent on non-Hindus? How much of that money is being spent to support Hindu artists who are temple artists? To set up institutions for our, let's say, health and education? That's why I said in the answer to the previous question, being a conscious Hindu doesn't stop with voting for anyone. That is merely the first step. The next step is to actively take an interest in the affairs of your community. Temple trusts must be formed. Temple protection committees must be formed. That is the way you re-energize the community and start telling them, we will not be sleeping anymore. This Kumbhakarna slumber that we have been going on for centuries now has to end. That's the only way to address the problem. There is no easy solution that I can offer to this, because it's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of patience, and it's a lot of continuous activity. When the Ram Janabhoomi case was being fought, I keep coming back to that example. Think of it this way. The other side pooled community resources to continue fighting that battle right until the Supreme Court, until 2019. Technically, they are a minority. They have done it. I appreciate that commitment. I may not agree with them, but I admire such commitment. And I genuinely wish we had the very same commitment and focus. So some of these problems require formation of groups, formation of teams with a very clear vision. I know for a fact that people like Sanku and others have been speaking about it. They've tried to address the problem at least through their talks and even going to court. But I don't think they've got the support from the community as much that they deserve. So when we conduct these kind of events, my suggestion would be, and I think that is what has already happened, split this into two different parts. The first part of the event will be about the kshetra, will be about the institution. The second part of the event will be about the community. You have to address both. Once you start doing this, people will realize that they have a place where they can come and openly talk about these issues. Most people are scared to talk about it because they don't know who is listening. They don't know who will react how, who will put up a social media post, who will go and report somewhere. This is your safe place. Your question, ma'am. Can somebody hand over the mic to ma'am, please? I'll get the mic to you, just a second.
Namaskaram. Taking my Guruji's blessings, I am also asking a small question to you, sir.
Please.
Because education is the most difficult part of our current state.
Correct.
Where Hindus have got so much of complex.
Correct.
In public to discuss about our deities, our rituals, our traditions and so all.
Correct.
Even our grandchildren are affected by that. After getting out of the temple, they used to
wipe it
just
off.
Wipe out the this thing, chandanam.
Right.
What is that? What is the crime behind that? sometimes I feel very dejected and surprised to see such a, because in our house we light the lamp in the Sandhya and put a vibhuti on my grandchildren's heads. Everything is there in place. But before reaching their school or after contacting with their friends, they are totally getting brainwashed. They come and asking so many questions. Why Amuma like this? Shiva, Bhagavan Shiva cut Ganapati's head. Why Amuma like this? So sometimes I explain everything in a nice way when I am putting him into bed, telling the stories and all. But sometimes I feel that I am also responsible for that. Why should we didn't open our mouth in front of the public in temples and religious places? Why should you feel very much awkward when we talk about our culture, our traditions, what all our grandparents, great-grandparents handed over to us?
Correct.
We should be proud. We should be proud. Even yesterday I was telling Mr. Changuji, and I was telling him, when he was attacked and he was in coma, he was in ICU, I put this thing in my WhatsApp, asking my friends of my age, 72, I am 73.
To pray for him.
But to pray for him. And yesterday I was crying when I congratulated him. Oh, you are born again. You are like a Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda.
Correct.
I believe the youngsters are sitting all over here. You can do so much to your society. You
Correct.
so much for your religion. Don't ever ashamed to tell that you are born out of a Hindu mother.
Correct.
Otherwise, you could have gone to a Christian mother's womb. You are born to a Hindu parents, father, mother, parent, your grandparents. You are taking their names, Menon, Nair, so many. So I always get emotional, maybe due to my age, but I feel that all the problems can be solved at 50%.
Correct.
From the educational institutions.
Correct.
We should go to Grandparents' Day, Parents' Day, and you should support your child. If you are doing, your children are going to temple and pray there, you should be proud that I have given that heritage or that tradition to my blood, the next generation.
Correct.
So I am a devotee of Sathya Sai Baba for 22 years. I do so many services there, including cleaning the toilets. I am blessed. But thing is, Baba is taking so much care in Vedas, in giving education. All these things, undoubtedly, no recognition is not needed, no publicity is needed. He is doing so much of work. Now he is not in his body, but he is still here to hear me, still here. But thing is, we should give whatever is to be given at the age of 3 onwards. Then only 13 you can expect something from them.
Correct.
After reaching 30, they may value you because he may think, oh, my grandparent or my mother has put so much of values. I can claim, I can even demand that my religion should be respected. You have no right to my mother is a beautiful mother in this earth. I should not respect your mother. I respect, but love my country, love my traditions, I can die for my country. Right. I can die for my religion. That is the only request in front of my Swami. I'm talking this much, I'm getting this thing.
Not at all,
but education is the most important thing. Even ladies, so many ladies are sitting there here. You should put off the TV at Sandhya and don't see this, this rubbish, I should not say here, but rubbish, this, I don't see that, all these things, crying at the Sandhya Samay, fighting with mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, claiming all credits for your upbringing. Nothing is there. Whatever has given to you by Bhagavan, Ishwaran, that is the only rich culture, richness, bank balance you have at the time of your last days. Because that time you will always remember you will feel proud that I have given something to my generation, my grandchildren, my children. That's all, sir. And I always believe that religious studies should start at schools. Even other communities can give Sunday school, Saturday school. Why can't we give something to our children Saturdays and Sundays? But in that way, even retired teachers are here, retired ladies are there. They should give at least 1 or 2 hours on Sundays to bring 15 small kids and say stories of Prahlada, Dhruva, and all. Say they may get elevated, their doubts will be cleared. You don't believe, sir, one current discussion in a temple, one 10th class student girl, who she was asked, who are the brothers of Lord Ram? She was telling 10th class student, Rama, Lakshmana and Arjuna. I was just putting my head down. My God, what is I'm hearing? Who is responsible for this? We are responsible for that. So I am taking leave, sir. Don't think that I am talking so much. So thank you. Thank you.
So I'll just thank you for everything that you've just said, because it makes it more relatable for people. How do you expect them to continue to respect their community and their faith when they go to non-Hindu schools? 8 hours a day they are going to spend there. Their teachers are constantly teaching them something else. I studied in a Christian school. And in that school, my first and my only visit to Sabarimala was when I was in the 9th standard, 1998. And I wore the black dress, there was no footwear, nothing and everything else. So the first day I went, I was taken to the principal. What is he wearing? Where is the uniform and all that? So I said, this is my faith. If somebody were to be observing Rosa merely because he doesn't change his dress, would you insist that he does not observe it in school? And fortunately, my parents supported me fully. And I think those days, to some extent, Christian schools were still okay with it. I don't know what is the situation now anymore. And in moral science, which is a subject, you'd be taught stuff from the Bible on a regular basis. Are they forcing you to go to Christian schools? Right. So where are Hindu schools? We are so concerned about education. We are so interested in education. Where is the actual investment in education? So the NRI community talks to me on a regular basis. And I tell them, don't talk to me because you won't like what I have to say. Because I will be very blunt, you won't like it at all. They said, no, we'll still listen to you. I said, okay, fine. I said, Indian parents send their children to Chinese schools and Japanese schools and Korean schools when they want Asian education. They are among the richest communities in America and they don't have Hindu schools to offer. Temples maintained by Hindus in America are not under state control, fortunately. So two things emerge. If NRI Hindus can maintain temples, Indian Hindus can also maintain their own temples. Point number one. Point number two, if temples are free in America, why haven't they used temples and institutions associated with the temples to establish schools? Who has stopped you? Every other child coming from a non-Hindu community is confident of its identity because its school education and what is being taught in the family are not fighting with each other. Whereas what you teach in the family is negated by what is taught in schools. And a child wants to be part of a group. That is its basic nature. It doesn't want to be alone in the playground. So this is what we call peer pressure. That's why they take up to all sorts of habits, because that is what is acceptable in the group. So for them, religion and culture, two don't matter when it comes to acceptance in those groups. One, because we don't teach them strong enough, and you're sending them to atmosphere and those places where they don't have the ability to mingle with people who share those values. My suggestion was a hospital and a school precisely for this reason. Two, somehow Hindus, as you rightly said, have this deep-seated inferiority complex that if they were to openly sport their Hindu faith or display it in public, they are fascists. They are bigots. They are narrow-minded. No, you're not. You don't need to suffer from this kind of a complex after thousands of years of oppression. But you're constantly being engineered like this. You're being programmed like this through education, through politics, through the constitution, and through other means. Fortunately, the situation is changing, because I know for a fact that in at least 2 of my lectures, I said I'm issuing what is called the dhoti challenge or the veshti challenge, asking men to first wear dhotis and veshtis to malls before asking women to wear saris. And youngsters started wearing dhotis to colleges. Young lawyers started wearing dhoti to the Delhi High Court and the Supreme Court. They actively started wearing the tika. So change has started. Fortunately, social media is making it possible to reach out to a wider section of the audience. But unless and until you address the fundamental problems, which is family and institutions associated with the temple, where your education is being imparted, where they know that there is a community, this will continue to be a problem where parents will outsource the upbringing of their children to schools. So it's almost as if your job is to give birth to them and send them to schools. Culture and cultural education will never come from schools, even if they're Hindu schools, because the incentive is with the family first. The responsibility is with the family first. So I think Swami Chidananda Puri also has a train to catch. I'll end it here. I'm so thankful for the patient hearing, and my apologies that I couldn't speak in a language which is yours, but I hope you still see me as yours, thanks to what I've said. Thank you so much.